Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we are going to be working on this mesh dress, this window pane pattern, and as you can see here I decided to use these Christmas colors. It looks very nice. You obviously don't have to do these colors here. Just happen to have a pack of yarn that had these Christmas colors in it, and so this is what I did it for. So yeah, instead of I guess doing Christmas sweaters this year, I decided to do a Christmas mesh dress, and I think it works out really well. We don't have to all just wear sweaters during Christmas. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be working on here. Let's go ahead and gather all the materials and get started. Okay my lovelies, so to get this project started, I'm going to show you all the materials that I'm using for it. And as you can see here, these are all the colors that I'm using. This yarn here is from Hobby, as you can see, and it is something that I got a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to use it. So this is Rainbow by Hobby. It's 100% cotton, and it is color number for this particular one is 08. But each one of these have different color numbers, but obviously as you can see, I'm gonna call this kind of dark red, light red, off-white, light green, and then kind of like teal. Okay, but this yarn here is a lightweight number 1, super lightweight number 1, super fine, I think you could say that as well. And recommended hook size for these is 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, or USC 8 C2E4. Sorry, sometimes it confuses me how they write it like that. And you get 50 grams or 170 meters approximately for a skein like this. Okay, now I'm just gonna show you the package it comes in. So it's actually a Christmas it's a Christmas package that they put together. So it comes in a package like this, and there's actually 2 rows that are exactly identical like this. So you get this row here and then exactly another one, and that's how you buy it in the package. So it is a Christmas kind of yarn. So we're gonna maybe call this dress a Christmas dress. I know we do Christmas sweaters all the time, but this one we're gonna be doing a dress for it. Okay, so if you want to know the color numbers for the rest of them, the light red, the color number is 07. The off-white, the color number is where are we here, 13. And then the green, light green, is 5. And then the teal color, the color number is 03. Okay, now I'm placing them like this because this is how I'm going to work my colors. You can obviously put the order of these colors in any way that you like, but I'm going to be doing them in this order here. Okay, all right, so with that said, I have my crochet hook size here, which is 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and it's E4 US. So I'm just right on top of the recommended hook here. I have my darning needle to join our panels. I have some stitch markers here, my scissors, as well as a measuring tape. So I'm gonna do this project a little bit differently, but let me put this on the side so I can explain to you why the other row of this color is not there. Is because I've actually done a panel for this already. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how to complete a second panel for me, but you guys will be seeing it for the first time, and you will have a second panel to complete after. So let me clear my table so I can show you what I've done so far. Okay my lovelies, so as you can see, this is the one panel that I have already created. I started off with this like greenish teal color, and I just honestly, when I began this project, I was like, just work the yarn until you finish the skein. So I pretty much completed one skein with maybe a tiny bit of the yarn left, which is okay because we do need to join at the end, and I would like to join this with the same color as this, and then the light green the same thing. Okay, so the way I began is I began with this color here, and then I moved it to the next color. And for the white, I ended up doing just 2 rows because as I was measuring what I had already here, and then when I multiply that by 5, I would have a dress that is a little way too long. So I was like, okay, one of these colors we have to do less than the rest. So I chose for this white to just be 2 rows, 2 of these I guess it's called like window pane. So as you can see, we have like, it's kind of like set up in boxes like this, and it's just called a window pane. So I did 5 for the other ones here. So 1 2 3 oh, 1 2 3 4. I did 4 in this color, and then I did 4 in this color, and then when it came to the white, I just did 2, and then I went back to doing 4 in the next color, and then as you can see, I completed my fourth for the red, the dark red here. Now the way I'm gonna wear this dress is, this is gonna be the top, and then it's gonna go all the way to the bottom being this color. You can absolutely do the orders in your own preferred way, but for me, I'm doing it like this. Okay, all right, so this now, the dress is now the length that I want. And so after finishing this row here, I stopped, and then I will show you guys how to do the second panel. So the first panel, you just do it all the way straight, and I think for the second panel, we're going to work it so that we do create a neckline a little bit for the front. Okay, so this is gonna be our back panel, the next one is gonna be our front panel. So with that said, I'm gonna put these away so I can explain to you how to do this. And of course, I'm going to begin with the same one that I began the other panel with. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, my lovelies, so I just placed the bottom of the first panel that I completed down here so that I can explain how we're working it as you see it on the camera. Now this project is a little bit, it's tricky on how to do in terms of the multiples of stitches that you start with. So what I will do, I have a piece of paper here just to show you, just to show you how to start. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna measure your widest part of your body, widest part of your hips, and then when you have that number, you are going to decide, because that number is going to be when it's tight. So you're going to decide to add things if you do want it to be a little bit wider or looser than that. So let's say the widest part of your hips is 40 inches and you measure and you get 40 inches. You're going to want to incorporate a couple of inches for the looseness. But if you do want it to be tight, then you leave it as you leave it at 40 inches. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna explain to you how you do the multiples here. It's a little bit tricky because you do multiples of 15, but you have to be careful because you want to end with 10 and 10 at the end. So the way I decided to do this project is to, so as you can see here, when you look at these solid areas, I have 1 2 3 4 5 6, and these solid areas are 10 double crochet stitches. So just by that alone, I'm going to write down 10 6 times. Okay, so I'm going to say 10 10 10 10 10 1 2 3 4 5 and 10. Okay, so I know that these 6 10s here give me my 6 blocks of 10 double crochets here. So I have 60, but we have to incorporate these areas here, which are also a number of stitches. These here are 5 stitches per each of these meshes that we do. So what I do then is I add 5 here, I add 5 here, I add 5 here, I add 5 here, and I add 5 here. Okay, because I need these 5s to be between the rows of 10 double crochets. Okay, the stitches. Now we need to be able to incorporate the meshes that we have on the side. So we do have a section that is mesh on each of the sides. Now for the beginning or the end, I guess if I do my chains like this, at the end here, I will need to do a chain of 6, because the chain of 6 will be so that there's 1 2, which is my chain 2, 1 2, which is my double crochet, and then 1 2, that is my chain 2 again to go this way. So I would be skipping this here to be a chain of 2, create my double crochet with the other 2 stitches, and then do a chain 2, and not doing, but this part of chain 6 will also count as 2 double crochets or 2 chain 2s at the end when I go this way. I hope that makes sense. So that means then I will add 6 chains, but then we have to be able to have that on this side as well. So what I will do is on this side, not necessarily this side, but maybe on this side, I will add 3 more chains, because the 3 chains are going to count as a double crochet and chain in the bottom. But because of the I don't need the double crochets. The double crochet I already have, and then I need a chain 2 and a chain 2, but I have a chain 2 already, because when I finish the skipping here, I'm gonna get that extra chain. So instead of doing a chain of 4, I just do 3. So I'll add another 3 here. And I hope this makes sense, but it's the way this pattern works. Okay, so I will be doing so let's say this is 60, the tens add up to 60, and then 70, 80, 85. So I'll do a chain of 85, okay, and then I will add a chain of 9, so plus 9 at the end. Okay, so all right, and this is for this size, this is for what I'm making. So if you wanted this to be smaller, so let's say instead of having 6 blocks here, you have 5, then you would be doing 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. That gives you 50, plus these 2 5s here make it 60, plus these 2 5s here make it 70. So you'll be doing a chain of 70 plus 9. Okay, and if you're doing even smaller, so let's say you do only 4 blocks, so you'll do 1 2 3 4, that gives you 40, and then plus these 10s here, it will give you 50 55. Okay, so that's how this pattern works. So it would be 50 chain of 55 plus 9. All right, so I'm gonna put these away, and hopefully it makes sense. If it doesn't, it will kind of make sense as we work into it. So let me go ahead and get started here. And as you know, based on my project, I'm gonna be doing a chain of 85 plus 9. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and yarn over and put the yarn in on my thumb like that, slit it off, because I want to do a slip knot. And then I will go like this and start with my slip knot like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start my chain of 85 plus 9. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my chain of 85 plus 9 here. Okay, so altogether I have 94 chains. And just so you can see, if you do see it that maybe one of your panels or the chain is longer than your panel, that's okay. The reason for that is, first of all, we're gonna bend at least the first 6 are gonna bend in like this, because we're creating the first part of it with the 6 of these chains, and then at the end, as you know, we also are using the other 3 chains at the beginning. Okay, now I'm gonna skip 6 stitches, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, and in the 7th one here, I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet, but I'm going to go into the back of the foundation chain to complete my double crochet like that. Okay, now as you can see, this is why we had that 6 at the end, and then the other 3 is going to work out on the other side. Now we're going to skip 2 chains, so 1 2. In the back of the 3rd one, we're going to do a chain 2, and then skip 1 2, and in the back of the 3rd chain, complete your double crochet. Okay, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches. In the 3rd, complete a double crochet of the 3rd chain from your last stitch. Chain 2, skip 1 2. In the 3rd, go ahead and do a double crochet in the back of your foundation chain. Now the reason I'm going in the back of my foundation chain is because I want this to be flat like this, as you can see on my panel here. you can see that it's a little bit flatter like that, as opposed to if you go through the front loop here. I find it that it doesn't keep it very flat, it makes it kind of fold. Okay, and you just do this all the way to the end of this row, and at the end you will just have a row of the mesh, and that mesh is this very first mesh that we have at the beginning of the row here. Okay, so we begin the row with a mesh, and then that way we have clear places to work the next stitches. So go ahead and complete this, and then come back when you have your mesh completed for this first row. Okay, my lovely, so I have worked my first row here to the end, and as you can see, I didn't finish the final one because I wanted to explain that this is the chain 3 that we had at the end here. So even though we added a chain of 6 and then 3, the chain of 6 is what created this loop here, and then the chain of 3 is what we have at the end here. So with 3 stitches left, I have done my chain of 2, and then now I'm going to go ahead and complete a double crochet in the third stitch at the which is the end. Okay, so after skipping these 2 stitches. Okay, so I just wanted to come back and show you guys where those 3 extra stitches we did at the end go. This is where they go, right here. Okay, and then from here on we have the 10 going forward. All right, so, and as well, if you do put it against the panel that is completed now, you can now see it is now the size that we want. Even though the chain was longer, now the mesh here is pretty much the same as the length of the width, the width of the dress that we have already completed the panel. All right, so for the second row, we are going to start by doing a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this chain 4, the first 2 chains count as a double crochet, and then the second 2 chains count as chain 2. Then we're going to turn our work, and then we're going to skip this chain 2 here, and on top of the previous double crochet we're going to complete a double crochet just like that. Okay, and then we're going to count out 10 double crochets, including the one we just completed. So we have 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, I'm putting 2 double crochets in the chain 2 spaces, but I also do 1 double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Okay, so as you can see, now I have my chain 2 gap here. I'm going to go under that and complete 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then on top of the previous double crochet I will complete a double crochet. And then on top of the chain 2 spot, I'm going to do 2 double crochets like that. And then on top of the double crochet, I will complete a double crochet. Okay, so now if you count your double crochet stitches that you've completed here, you should have 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this 10 is pretty much our first block of 10. So this block of 10 right here. Okay, and then we want to do the next 5, and we want to make those into a mesh. So what I will do is I will do a chain of 2, and then skip this chain of 2 here, and on top of the double crochet go ahead and complete a double crochet like that. Okay, and then so this, now I have 2 stitches here. So and then I'm gonna do 2 double crochet, 2 chain 2, and then a double crochet on top of the next double crochet after skipping the chain 2. Okay, so now these 5 is pretty much this chain 2 here plus the double crochet plus the chain 2 here. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have 5, which is this, and now I need to go ahead and do the 10, and it's already started by completing this double crochet over here, because it counts again, it counts with 4 the next double crochets I'm gonna do. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on top of the double crochet, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 is on top of the double crochet. Okay, so again, make sure you count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's where your next 10, which is this 10 right here. And then we're going to do a 5, which is the mesh. And I will show you that, and then I will talk to you guys how to finish the rest of it. So to do the 5 stitches here, it's going to be these 2 chain 2s plus the double crochet plus these 2 chain 2s. That's why I get my 5. So I'll do a chain of 2, skip this chain 2 on top of the double crochet, complete a double crochet. Chain 2, skip these 2 double crochets, and then do a double crochet, but this double crochet does not count towards these 5. It counts towards the next block of 10 double crochets. Okay, so just go ahead and repeat this. The next that's gonna come up here is your rows of 10 double crochets, which is the next part, and then you will do a mesh, then you will do 10 double crochets, a mesh, and when you have just the final one, so you will do your 10 double crochets will come all the way to here. Your 10th double crochet will be here, and then I'll talk to you guys how to do the mesh at the end. Okay, so go ahead and complete that, and then come back to the video so I can show you what to do for the next row. Okay, my lovely, so I have completed this row here, and as you can see, it may not be very obvious as you can see it here, but I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks of the 10 double crochets, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're obviously going to have the number of blocks that is represented by the size that you're making. So this is done for me. So I have my last is here 10 double crochets, and then what I will do at the end here, so this is my chain 6 that I skipped when we started the mesh row. So I'm going to do a chain of 2, and then I'm going to skip 1, 2, and in the third I am going to complete a double crochet. So I'm going to go right here and complete a double crochet. So this is how the mesh at the end looks like. Okay, and then we're going to start the third row. I'm going to do a chain of 4. So you will always start with a chain of 4 in this part here. And then you're going to turn your work, and again your chain 4 counts as a double crochet plus chain 2. And so I'm going to skip this chain 2 here, and on top of the previous double crochet I'm going to complete a double crochet. So I'm skipping 2 stitches and then doing a double crochet in the third stitch. And then I'm going to do double crochets in every stitch until I get to the end of these 10 stitches. So there will always be 10 stitches for the double crochets row, double crochet part. Okay, and then I will do a mesh when it comes to the moment to do the mesh, and then go back to doing 10 double crochets, and then go back to doing meshes. And then this is pretty much where we're alternating until we have the number of rows that we need for each of these blocks. Okay, so a lot of people may do it differently. Maybe you'll do 4 rows of this, or maybe 5, maybe 6. It's all up to you at that point. For me, I did 5 rows, and I'm not counting the mesh row that we began with. I'm counting from these when we start to do the blocks. Okay, all right, so as you can see now I have to work on the mesh. So I'll do a chain of 2, and then skip this chain 2, and then on top of the double crochet I will do a double crochet. Chain 2, skip these 2 chains, and then on top of the previous double crochet do a double crochet, and then do 10 double crochets. So that's 1, and then I will do the next 9, and then I'll repeat the mesh again, and then do the next 10 double crochets, repeat the mesh, do the next 10 double crochets, repeat the mesh. So this is pretty much what we're doing from this point, and in my case until I finish 5 rows of the of this here, not including the mesh row. So if I include the mesh row, then I will have 6 rows before I come back. So I want you guys to do the same. Just continue to repeat this until you get to the number of rows that you need. Or if you're following the tutorial exactly as this, then you're gonna do 6 rows total, but 5 rows of these blocks here, and then come back. And when you come to the end here, you will complete your double crochet here, and then chain 2, skip 2 chains, and in the third chain you're going to do a double crochet, and then chain 4, and then repeat again. Okay, so go ahead and finish the number of rows you need, and then come back to the video and I will show you how to start the next part, because we have to make sure we have the mesh rows in between every 5 rows of the of the window pane, or the blocks that we leave as blocks of 10 double crochets. Okay, all right, I will see you guys when you have completed your 6th row. Okay, my lovely, so I've gone ahead and completed 5 rows in this pattern here. That is excluding the mesh row, so it's 6 rows altogether that I've completed. And as you can see, I'm just about to finish this row here. So for this, I will just do a chain of 2 and then skip these 2 double crochets, and in the third I'm going to go ahead skip the 2 chain 2s and then go ahead and do a double crochet on top of the third chain 1. Okay, now I'm going to start by repeating the mesh. So now we're going to do this row here where we're doing the mesh, and to do that we're always going to start by doing a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and turn like that. And then you're going to go ahead and skip this chain 2, and on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, and then chain 2 and skip the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, in the third do a double crochet, and then do a chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, in the third do a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, in the third do a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, which is the previous chain 2, and then on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2 gap, on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, and then you just continue this until the end. So chain 2, skip 2 stitches, in the third do a double crochet, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and in the third do a double crochet. Okay, so just repeat this until the end. When you reach the end here, come back to the video and I will just explain quickly how we then go ahead and repeat what we just did here for the next 5 rows, and then we go back to doing the mesh row, and then we go back to doing 5 rows of this pattern here, and this is what we repeat until we have the length of our dress. So nothing too complicated. Okay, but for now, do your meshes all the way to the end here and then come back to the video. Okay, my lovelies, so I have done my mesh row here. So this is the next set of the rows that we're going to be doing. So we did this in the first 6 rows here, which began with a mesh, and then we're now going to start the next 6 rows by starting with a mesh. And so I have completed the mesh row here. So I will show you just quickly how to begin the next row. So we're going to begin by doing a chain of 4, okay, and then turning, and then I skip this chain 2 here, and then I go ahead and do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet here. Okay, and then I will work 2 double crochets into the chain 2 gap. So 1, 2, and then I'll complete a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Then I'll work 2 double crochets into the mesh into the chain 2 gap, and then I will work a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then I'll complete 2 double crochets where the chain 2 was, and then I'll finish these off by doing a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Okay, so I should have 10 stitches here, and then my next part is to do the mesh. So we're going to continue the mesh here. So I will do a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then skip the chain 2, and on top of the double crochet I will do a double crochet like that, and then chain 2, skip this chain 2, and on top of the double crochet I'll do a double crochet. And then now I need to do the solid here, so I will go ahead and do 2 double crochets where the chain 2 is, and then do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then do 2 double crochets where the chain 2 is, like that. And then I will do the double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then 2 double crochets where the chain 2 was, and then finished off by doing a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. So I have my 10 stitches here. Okay, so as you can see, now we're just repeating exactly what we began by doing this here, and then you're just gonna do this and alternate these 5 more times, and by that it will give you the second set of boxes here. Then you will do a row of the mesh, and then do 5 rows of to create that box, then you will do a mesh and then do 5 more rows to create the box. Okay, so from this point on, I'm gonna have you guys work your panel until you finish the complete panel. And so again, I'm going to be working 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, and just because of my yarn ending, I change and I start the next set with a new color by doing a row of the mesh, and then 5 rows of the solid, and then mesh, and then 5 rows of solid, and I do that 4 times. And then before I start the mesh, I end the light green with the solid, and then I start the white with the mesh, then do 5 rows, mesh, 5 rows, and then before I finish that, I start off the light red with the mesh and then continue like that. Okay, so go ahead and do this until you finish the 4 rows in the dark red, or however you alternated it to get the length of your dress. Okay, when that's done, put that panel on the side and then begin by repeating the same thing again. But for the final block of color here, what you will do is you will do 1, 2, 3, and then come back because I want to use the last block here to create a neckline for the front panel. So the first one you finish will be the back panel, which is this one here for me. And then the front panel, you're going to finish until you have just this block here left. Come back and I will show you what to do with that, and then we go ahead and continue with the project from there. Okay, so when you come back, you should have both of your panels pretty much completed beside what I just explained here. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed my second panel here. So obviously, as we started the video, I showed you guys how I already completed the first panel, and just so you guys could see, because this is a project that needs a little bit more attention to understand how to do it. So I completed the first panel, which is going to be the back panel, and then I told you guys to go ahead and do the second, but that when we come to the second, we don't complete the 4th square. So as you can see here, we have these window panes. And in the, let me just get the first panel here. So in the first panel, which is this one here, we went ahead and completed 4 of these squares. And for the front panel, I said to just do the 3 and then come back, because we're gonna do the 4th one by creating the neckline. Okay, so that's where we are. So the first one here is all 4, and then for the second, like I said, to do it and just stop at the 3. All right, so that is done. So as you can see, it's just a second panel that just matches exactly the first one. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to create a neckline for the front panel. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to determine like where how wide you want your neckline to be, or how narrow you want it to be. Okay, so I think for this one here, because it's going to be a little bit of a loose dress, we don't want the neckline to be too tight. So what I will do is I will probably kind of count. Let me just get this here. So I'll probably do something where I come to the middle here. So we will have a stitch here, we will skip this 2, we will have a stitch here, we will skip this 2, we'll have a stitch here. So I'll probably put a stitch marker right here for now. I may change that. So as you can see, it's in the second square, and then I go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the 6th I have the stitch marker. So I will do the same on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So which means I have a stitch here, I have a stitch here, I have a stitch here, I have a stitch here. So I will put my stitch marker right there. Okay, so this is what I will do so far for the neckline, which means this is my neckline right here. You can change this, you can make it so that it comes in more, you can make it so it's just on in the first box here. It's all up to you, but it's gonna determine how long or how wide you want your neckline to be, how it kind of curves in like that. Okay, all right, now with that done, I am going to show you how to do the next set of the window pane here. And to do that, it's gonna be, we have to work on one side at a time, because we're gonna be working on here, but we're also going to decrease a little bit so that it kind of goes out like this, as opposed to it going straight like this. Okay, So I'm just preparing my yarn here so I can show you how to do that. So as you can see, we did our 5 rows in the solid here. So the next row we have to do is of the mesh, because we have to kind of just keep it consistent to the whole thing. So for me to do the mesh, I'm going to just do what we have been doing here, which is to start with my chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I will turn. And then I'm going to skip the chain 2 here, and on top of this double crochet, I'm going to go and complete my double crochet like that, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2 in here, I will do my double crochet. So as you can see, we're not changing anything at all. We're literally keeping the same pattern. So 1, 2, skip 2, and in the third, do my double crochet. Chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, and in the third do my double crochet. And then we're going to work on top of the mesh here. So chain 2, skip the chain 2 spot, and on top of the double crochet complete a double crochet, and then chain 2, skip the chain 2, and on top of the double crochet complete a double crochet, chain 2, skip the 2 stitches here, in the third do a double crochet, okay, and then chain 2, and then we're going to remove our stitch marker because we're going to skip these 2 stitches, and in that third we're going to do our final double crochet before we turn. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the third and do my double crochet. So we're going to leave it like this because we're going to be working back and forth here. Okay, all right, so now this is where we do something a little bit different. So instead of doing a chain of 4, because if I went all the way to this end here, I will do a chain of 4 to turn. But because I'm in the middle here, we're going to do a chain of 2. So 1, 2, we're going to turn. Okay. And then I'm going to do now my solids, and you know we're in the solid here. So in this chain 2 gap, I'm going to complete a chain of 2, double crochet twice. So 2 double crochets like that. And then I'm going to go ahead on top of the double crochet and complete my next double crochet. And then in the chain 2 gap, I'm going to complete 2 double crochets like that. And then on top of the chain of the double crochet, I'm going to complete a double crochet like this. Okay. And then now I have to work my mesh area here. So I'm going to do a chain of 2, skip the chain 2, on top of the double crochet, I will complete my double crochet, and then chain 2, skip the chain 2, on top of the previous double crochet, do a double crochet. And then now I go ahead and do 2 double crochets in the chain 2 gap. So I just go right underneath like this. And then on top of the double crochet, I will complete my double crochet. Underneath the chain 2, I'm going to do 2 double crochets like that. And then on top of the double crochet, I will do a double crochet. And as you can see, we're just doing our solid just like we would have done this one here. We're doing that here. Okay. And then in my chain 2, do 2 double crochets. On top of the previous double crochet, do a double crochet. And then I will go ahead and do a chain of 2, and then do a double crochet in the third chain from the bottom, just like this, just like we've been doing. Okay, so this is how this section should look like that. Okay, so I'll show you how to do another row, because we're gonna decrease when we get to here, and as you can see, it's already kind of tilting to the side. It's not going straight like this. And we will keep reducing on this side here for the next 4 remaining rows, so that it has like this kind of feeling towards it, like this is straight and this is going like this. Okay, so we start with chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, turn, and then skip the chain 2, and on top of the double crochet we do a double crochet. And then for the next 10 stitches here, you're going to complete double crochets. Okay, so altogether you will have 10 double crochets in a row without any skipping or any chains in between. Okay, so just like we have been doing for the whole project. So I'm gonna go ahead and just complete this so I can show you how to reduce when we get to the middle part of this row. Okay, and for those of you who want to do something different with the neckline, you're absolutely more than welcome to do that. So if you realize that you may want to just have your neckline be straight, then you will just work this fourth box or this fourth window pane the same, and then at the end you will have a neckline that is more straight. Okay, so we've gone here, so we'll do a chain of 2, skip the chain 2 on top of the double crochet, complete a double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2 on top of the double crochet, complete a double crochet. And then we work double crochets for the rest of the stitches here. But to reduce or to decrease, because our chain 2 that we began this row with counts as a double crochet, but for us to reduce, we're not going to be working into that chain 2 that we began with. So you can either look at it as the chain 2 does not count as a stitch, therefore you don't work a stitch into it, which is this chain 2 here. Or you can look at it as you just don't work into that. It counts as a stitch, but you don't work into it. So you can go either way. Okay, so I will do my final double crochet here, and I don't work into that. As you can see, this double crochet goes with that. So this, I do nothing in it, and that's part of my decrease there. Okay, so we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we're not working into that one. So we've just decreased in this section. And then for the next row, we do a chain of 2 and then turn. And then we're going to work a double crochet right here. And then a double crochet. And then a double crochet, and then a double crochet again, and then chain 2, skip the chain 2 right here, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2, and on top of the next double crochet do a double crochet, and then complete the rest of it. So we're going to do this. So this is obviously our third row of this solid. We're going to do a fourth one coming like this. And keep in mind, when you come back, you will be working your final double crochet right here, and forget that chain 2. And then chain 2, turn and repeat. And then when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these solid rows here, come back to the video and I will show you how to then begin doing the same thing on this side. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish my rows here, and then I'll be back when I have completed my 5th row. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the 5 rows here. Okay, so now as you can see, if you just look at it from this end, we have our 4 squares, and of course we worked a decrease here, so you should have something that looks like this on the side that is completed. Okay, so this side is done, so all I have to do is now just cut off the yarn, and I'm gonna cut it so that I have enough to join the top here. So I'll just cut it right here. Okay, and then I will go ahead and do a chain 1 and pull it through, and then lock that section off here. Okay, so now the work is gonna be done soon. We're gonna now start this side here, and I just bring my yarn in, so I'll show you how to just begin, and then you can just follow what we did in the previous clip to finish this section here. But I will show you quickly just how to kind of attach the yarn and how to get that started. Okay, so the first thing that I will do here is I will do a slip knot like this, and then I will go ahead, remove my hook, go into the 3rd chain, so 1, 2, right here, and then I will bring that loop in like this. Okay, and then from here I will do a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like we have been doing. I will hold this string on this side. I will skip this chain 2, and on top of the previous double crochet I will complete a double crochet like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do a chain of 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, in the third complete a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, in the third complete a double crochet, chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, in the third complete a double crochet. So as you can see, we just literally repeat what we did in the previous part of this project. Okay, I think I may have done 3 chains right here. Let me go back here. So chain 2, 1, 2, and then go and do a double crochet here, and then chain 2, and then I just do this all the way to where the stitch marker is. So my final double crochet will be where the stitch marker is, and then I will go ahead and start my solid rows. So I'll just remove the stitch marker for now so I can work into that. Okay, so chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, and then where the stitch marker was I will do a double crochet. Okay, so that is how it should look. Just kind of play with it a little bit, pull it and adjust it. And then now we're going to do our solid rows. So I will start by a chain of 2, which in this case you can either count as a double crochet or not. If obviously we're not going to work into this as you remember from the previous clip, but in the chain 2 gap I'm going to go underneath and complete 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, in the chain 2 gap do 2 double crochets, on top of the double crochet complete a double crochet, and then chain 2, skip the chain 2, on top of the next stitch do a double crochet, chain 2, skip the 2 chains, on top of the previous double crochet do your double crochet, and then now you just do the solids across. Okay, so you're gonna do this, just repeat what we did on this side here exactly, and then when you finish the 5 rows, so this is your first row of the solid, when you do 4 more, come back to the video and we will then talk about the joining and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed both sides of my front panel here. So as you can see, this is what we have. Okay, and so I'll bring in the back panel. So I'm just gonna place that. So as you can see, obviously the work is quite wide, so it's not gonna not everything is gonna fit on the screen here. So this is the first panel, which is our back panel. Okay, there you go. And so the only thing that we're gonna need to do is just place it. This is the back panel, so I'm gonna put it down here. All sides are the same, so you don't have to worry about what side that faces up, what side faces down. Okay, and so I am just going to go ahead and place it how we will join it, which is like this. So this part is gonna be joined up here like that. Voila. Okay, so this is how we're gonna join it. This is gonna be our neckline here, and so I'm gonna show you how to join one side and then you will do the other, and then we will talk about how to join the sides. Okay, because you're gonna need to join all the sides, and to do that, just so you know, I had some yarn that is left over from all the colors that we did, so I'm gonna join each color with the corresponding color so that I am not, so for example for this part here I'm gonna join here using this, but I already have the one that I had left. But when we do the armpit, or when we section out the armholes, whatever I need to join with this, I will join with this. And then when we go to this light red, I have the light red still here, the white, the light green, and then the teal or the dark greenish in the bottom. Okay, so, and that is just so that it doesn't show, like if I join these different colors with completely different color yarn, it's gonna show quite a lot, and I don't want that. But this is what I had left from doing all the rows that I have done for each color. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to join one of the sides here. So I will bring in my darning needle, and I'm gonna thread my darning needle here with the thread that I had left, like that. And then I'm going to join it just something like that. Okay, and all you have to do is just make sure you're matching it up to your work like this. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the third stitch, the bottom on the other side here, and I'm gonna pull that through. I hope you can see it. And then I'm gonna go into the next, which is this here, and I'm gonna go into the second stitch, and then I will pull. I'm not sure what I did here, but okay, and then I will just line up the stitches here. So I'll go to the next stitch, which is one of my chain one, line it up to the other side, and then bring it through, and then the next chain one, and then go through. And then now I just line up my stitches here. So I have my first stitch that I would line up to the first stitch on the other side and pull through, and then the next stitch that I would line up to the other side and bring it through. And I hope I had enough yarn here. I have a feeling I will not have enough that I had left hanging, but it's okay, I'll just cut another one. Okay, like that. And then we go ahead to the next, and you just line up your stitches like this, and you go all across until you come back to here. So you will have something like this. Okay, and make sure when you go to this side, we have 1 2 3 4 5 stitches here. So which means you're going to line it up to 1 2 3 4 5. So your stitch will go up to here. So you want to make sure that you're lining everything up like that. And then when this is done, you're going to go to the other side, do the same. And then when both sides are joined, then you're gonna come back and we're going to section out. I'm gonna do that while I'm off camera, section out how big or wide my armpit, I want my armpit to be. And then I will put a stitch marker where I need to join from. And then from that point on, we just join it all the way down. And then we switch and do the same on the other side. But for now, just complete doing the top here for both sides and then come back to the video. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed joining each sides here. So as you can see, this is what this side looks like. This is what this side looks like. And just keep in mind, this side that we're joining is going to end up being the inside of our dress because we're going to flip it when everything is done. But for now, as you can see, this is our neckline here. Okay, so this is done. What I've also done while I was offline is I sectioned off where I'm going to have my armholes, which is here. And you want to make sure that this is enough for your arm to come through and that it's comfortable. And the way you do that is you just use your tape measure and you determine how wide you want it to be by putting the tape measure around the widest part of your arm. And then you can increase by just making it a little bit wider. If you want it to be loose, if you want it to be tight, then keep it at the circumference of what your arm, the widest part of your arm was. Okay, all right. So I have already sectioned out my armpits here, or like my arm sections. So what I will do is I still have some of these that I just finished with. I'm going to join from here to here with this color. And then I'm going to change the color and I'm going to go and grab this color here and then join this. Do the same with the white, the same with the light green, and then finally with the green in the bottom. So you're going to go ahead and do the same with whatever colors that you're doing your project with. And then when that's done, you're going to switch and do the same on the other side. When both sides are done, come back to the video And I'm gonna show you, maybe we'll do something a little bit to clean up the neckline here, maybe even the armpits as well. I'm not sure yet, but we have enough color left that we will probably clean up the neckline here. And if we have enough after that, we can try to see if we can do the same with the armpit area. Okay. All right, so go ahead and complete joining your project and then come back when everything is done. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed joining the dress. So as you can see, everything is joined pretty much from where we sectioned it out all the way down to the bottom, and I did that on both sides. So I have also weaved in all the ends that I had, so everything that was kind of hanging, I weaved it in, and then I went ahead and flipped it the right side out. So this is actually the side we're gonna be wearing as the outside of our dress. Now there's just a little correction I would like to make here. So I wanted to kind of clean up the neckline a little bit here by maybe doing a row of double crochet or something like that, but I have just this much left, this much yarn left, and I don't think it's gonna be enough, so I don't want to take the risk of doing it on the neckline and then it doesn't work out. And I think also just by it being like this, it looks good. There's nothing wrong with it. It ends very nice, like this is clean. So I think I will leave it like that, so I don't have to use that for that. And I will do the same thing with the armpit, the arm holes here. I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the project here. It's all completed. This is the bottom, and then we go all the way to the top. It's a nice long dress that you can wear obviously with something underneath. You can even wear it as a bikini cover, things like that. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna end the video here. So please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.